All right, let's jump right in. You've probably seen a million books of affirmations, right? But what if I told you about one that wasn't just born from a place of hope, but from some really, really deep trauma? That's what we're getting into today. The incredible story behind a book that literally turned a lifetime of pain into a powerful love letter. So, the book's called Affirmations, A Love Letter to My Man. The author describes it as, well, a spiritual love letter. It's this 31-day journey of poetry and enlightenment, but honestly, the why behind the book, that's the story that will absolutely grab you. And that really gets us to the heart of it all, doesn't it? How in the world does someone go through an unbelievably painful childhood and not only survive, but come out the other side with a message of healing and love, and not just for herself, but for everyone else? To really get it, we have to go way back to the beginning, back to a little girl's innocent dream. You know, like a lot of kids, she just imagined this perfect future where a kind of Prince Charming would show up and make everything okay. And look at the details here. It wasn't just, oh, he's handsome. No, he had to be humble, but confident, wise. But that last one, the one who only wanted me, that one hits hard. In a life where she felt completely invisible, that was the ultimate fantasy. And this dream, it's so important because it's the complete opposite of the nightmare she was actually living. Yeah, that dream, it was basically a desperate escape from a really brutal reality. Her childhood wasn't anything like a fairy tale. It was, well, a legacy of pain, built by the very people who were supposed to keep her safe. This chart just lays it all out, the total disconnect. The dream of a loving dad, the reality was an abusive surrogate father. A supportive mom? Nope, she had a mother who told her she'd never amount to anything. And that rescuing prince? That dream just got twisted into a painful cycle of one toxic relationship after another. Can you even imagine hearing that from your own mother? This wasn't just some offhand comment. It was like a curse spoken over her life, a poison that she was basically forced to drink every single day. And from her surrogate father, it was just as cruel, just as cutting. He was constantly breaking her down, telling her she was ugly, slow, unwanted, words designed to just absolutely shatter any self-worth she had and keep her trapped. And she carried those words with her for years and years. This timeline is just devastating. The abuse started when she was only 8 years old. And it just continued, relentlessly, all through those critical years when you're supposed to be figuring out who you are. This wasn't just one bad thing that happened, it was her everyday reality. And here's the truly tragic part. Those awful words she heard over and over, they became her reality. She believed she was unworthy of love, so she ended up in relationships that just proved that belief right. And it led to this: 8 kids with men who, she says, actually hated her. Just let that sink in for a second. But this story does not end there, thank goodness. After years and years of this cycle, she finally hit a breaking point. You know, that one moment where the pain is just too much, and you know something has to give. It's a question we all face at some point, right? For her, that enough is enough moment was the spark for a total transformation. She saw a stranger in the mirror, and she just couldn't live with that person anymore. This right here, this is that moment, that flash of realization. The happy, loving little girl she used to be was gone. And in her place was this woman filled with so much hate and resentment. Seeing that stranger staring back, that was the alarm bell she needed. And that's it. So simple, but so incredibly powerful. It wasn't some long, thought-out process. It was just a snap. A switch flipped inside her. The decision was made. This cycle was over. So right then and there, she made this 3-part promise to herself. Step 1, accept accountability. I mean, that's huge, right? Taking ownership. Step 2, go deeper with her faith, her relationship with God. And step 3, maybe the most important one, promise to finally know her own worth and to never, ever settle for less again. So you might be wondering, how does all of this lead to a book? Well, her healing journey didn't just stop with her. It turned into a mission, a brand new purpose that was forged directly in the fires of her past. She actually had 3 really clear reasons for writing it. 1, yeah, it was personal. She still hoped to connect with that Prince Charming. But look at the other 2. They were about helping others. Helping men who are hurting in silence, and leaving behind a legacy of love for her own family. Her entire journey was really held up by this incredible faith. And there's this one story that just perfectly captures it. It's about a moment of total desperation and what she calls a direct message from above. Okay, try to picture this. It is freezing cold outside. She's standing at a bus stop. She's pregnant, and she's holding her little kid, who's shivering. She's exhausted, her back is killing her, she's at the end of her rope. So in that moment, she just closes her eyes and prays. But she doesn't just ask for a ride home. She asks for a sign. A very, very specific phrase that the person would have to say so she would know, without a single doubt, that it was an answer to her prayer. And get this is the part that just gives you chills. Before she could even finish the prayer, a car pulls up, the window rolls down, and the driver says the exact phrase she asked for, word for word. I mean, talk about an immediate, undeniable sign. But wait, the story gets even better. She ends up sharing a little bit of her story with the driver, who is going through her own stuff. And the driver was totally inspired. And it just proves this crucial point. Her story, her survival, wasn't just for her. It had the power to lift up other people, even a total stranger. And that brings us all the way back around. This book, this spiritual love letter, it's not just a bunch of pretty words on a page. It's a tool. It's a tool for healing that came from a life that is proof that healing is possible. It's all designed to give someone else the same peace she fought so hard to find for herself. So it leaves us with this massive question, right? Her story is it's proof that our deepest wounds don't have to be the end. They don't have to define us in a negative way. In fact, they can become the fuel for our biggest strengths, for our true purpose. In the end, it really comes down to this. What do we choose to do with our pain?